Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew, where family's everything, because that's all they do is talk it like this on this show.
Until it's not. I'm Aunt.
And I'm Andrew. And yeah,
Hi,
that's my
Andrew.
Sonja. Everything's got to be, sad. It's like, oh my God. It's like, we get it. Like, we see this whole planted hot guy they flew in. I don't really care. But the
What hot
talking-
guy? What hot guy?
Okay, the
Who,
guy that
Billy?
she's getting with
Billy?
is cute. He's cute. He's tan. He's got a nice body. But what I'm telling you, she doesn't have to narrate it in sex talk. I can't
Billy?
stand it.
You think Billy? I think he's
I
an
mean,
actor.
compared to the mayor, like, yeah,
The man's a cutout.
I love him.
Do
I want to get
too.
a cutout. I thought it was
Of the
great
mayor.
for conflict resolution. Like if you really have to address someone.
Oh,
we
what
get
a
a
great
cutout,
idea.
I like the role play. Like I like, you can like we could do it, and we could get one of someone, and then we could talk, like do the role play.
Oh, I love that idea. I think that's a great idea. I do think that's a great idea.
You know, my dad has a cardboard cutout of someone in his family, but it's from someone who's passed, right?
Yes, I
Yes,
do.
But
I
like
do.
it's kind of that
I
concept,
do.
like in the
Yeah,
sense of like,
yeah.
tell me what you got to say.
Maybe
now.
I should get one of my mom and I can talk to her.
That's nuts.
It is nuts. I just thought
You
I'd
talk to
throw
her
it.
anyway. You don't
I
need
do.
to have a cardboard
I don't
cutout.
need anyways.
Exactly.
I see dead people. Tell me, do you think Billy's real or is he an actor?
Oh, he's an actor.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Billy's an actor too. Now, the funniest part about Billy Rashad is that she kept on saying, well, he wanted to take me home. He wanted to take me home. And then they play back and she's grabbing him and she's saying, you're taking me home. And that's the funny part. That's what I thought was really funny. Now, do you think she actually had fun with Billy Rashad? You think not, because he was just an actor playing a role?
No, I think that she did not. The same.
Okay.
She did as much with him as many nights as they stayed at that motel.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I started to question the motel only because it seemed very early and they seemed very much in bad shape. I don't
questioned
know.
the hotel.
They might stay there a night or two just to get effect. I don't know.
I question the motel because.
But the motel, because you notice they've never showed, all of a sudden my wrist hurts. They've never showed them actually like walking into the room and it being a room. So I almost wonder if it's a set.
I think it's a set, but I will say that like what threw me off with the motel is just on their marquee. It said you are on camera, or like it says like you're being filmed under
Yes,
the logo of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm wondering if that isn't really the room at the hotel.
I get what you're saying is that they're telling people that might be staying there that are not part of the production. Watch out, you might be on camera because we have these 2 rooms rented by a production team because they're filming.
No, I think they're doing the outside and stuff. I think those 2 rooms might be like in a box truck somewhere.
We're talking about the same thing. What I'm saying is that I think, like, imagine there's 15 rooms. 2 are controlled by Bravo, probably 3. One's like a tech room, control room. Then they have these 2 rooms that are the set. There's 12 other rooms at the motel that
I'm sure they didn't take, unless they're all staying.
No, they're telling the guests because they also are running a business.
Yeah,
that if you get a room here, you might be on camera because there's a show being filmed here too. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why it says that.
But there are many places you go to that have a sign up, even if they're not filming. Like you can go to like a casino and it says you may be filmed here today.
That's
like
for security.
Full disclosure. Yeah.
This was on the parquet on the outside because it's the best thing that's ever happened to this motel.
It is the best thing that ever happened. I'm happy to the town. And the town, who brought, if Billy brought home Luann, if Billy brought home Sonja, who brought home Luann? Did she drive herself? Because she drove to the place. I don't think believe that any of this. I don't believe
I don't think that Luann, I think Luann and Sonja, I do think that they are driving places, but I feel like that's the extent
Do you think they have a script or they're just told to ad lib? Because they're funny. They're very funny. They're ad-libbing, but they're funny women. I mean, Luann is funny just being Luann. Because
she really is. I love how she goes, all it took was me out here in some high heels and short shorts. She was wearing like an 1.5-inch kitten heel. Not even an inch and a half.
You're not going to get to the lemonade stand yet because that's a That's
That's a whole nother level, but I'm happy for the owner of Bloom.
I thought the same thing. I loved when she said we need lights, and they're doing a Saint-Tropez
Oh yeah.
and lights. And what could all you think of when you think of lights in a room? What do you think of? I think
Oh my God, your daughter's room.
no, I think of Raquel, aka
Oh yes, of course.
Rachel.
But didn't your daughter have stars on her
Yes,
ceiling
she
when
did
was a
have
kid? She
stars
did,
on her
okay.
ceiling, but they
Oh
weren't
yes,
lights.
of course.
But
Tom Schwartz and Rachel.
I did, because
By the way, she's
remember,
going by Rachel now.
I
for
know.
good.
And did you hear why she's going to be
Oh
Rachel?
yes, I heard.
Because she was in therapy and people were making fun of her when all of this happened, calling her Rachel, Rachel, and she decided she's going to own her name again.
She's Rachel.
She's Rachel, but they said her family's been calling her Raquel for years. So I don't know.
That's great. That's awesome. But I think it's amazing.
But remember how she had the lights in the room? And then I thought, Luann, maybe she's going to do that. Like, and her, why doesn't she have that? I will say string lights are great anyway.
I'm making a prediction.
String lights, they're fantastic. Go outside on your patio, put some string lights. You feel happy. Take a little tree, put some lights on it. It looks good. You go to Florida and they put the little lights, miniature lights on the palm trees. And it's like, oh, beautiful palm trees. Lights make everything better.
Of course. That's
Okay.
nice.
So
your
that's
PSA for the day.
Yes.
But I'll tell you this.
PSA for the day is have lights.
Rachel, I'm telling you, I'm making a prediction right now.
I want to go.
Rachel and Ariana make peace on this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
They're not friends ever again.
No, but they're going to make peace.
They're going to have a moment where Ariana is going to be like, she's going to accept an apology. She's going to understand that this girl is maybe 10 years younger than her. She's going to go through her own therapy. Rachel's going to keep going through hers. Sandoval is never going to change. He's never going to grow up. And he is going to have the messiest season coming up. Just wait and watch. He's already just hanging out with Billy Lee. That's all he does. Hang out with Billy Lee.
He's by himself in the back of Sir in the alley. I know. So I wanted to say everybody loves lights. Now, one of my favorite parts of the episode is when first of all, Craig, the rodeo clown, he hates them. He hates them. I should say he hated them. He hated them until Luann became the majorette and Sonja became the tumbler, and he was like the ringleader of the circus. And it was something very high school about Luann's being the majorette and the other one's the gymnastics. And it was all crazy. I was laughing hysterical because Luann can still twirl her baton.
Oh, were you saying when they were doing the mud racing?
No.
Because that gave me grease.
That was totally.
It was like the grease thing, and then you see like them like Sandy, and they're jumping up and down like Nikki had just won the race.
No, I'm talking about when Craig, who hates them, who called them spoiled rich girls from New York.
I didn't like that.
And then he was the circus rodeo clown. He's a rodeo clown. And then she's doing the baton. Luann's walking around, and Sonja starts doing some somersaults. What is it? Somersaults or tumble salts? Some people call them tumble salts because you tumble over. But that reminded me of like some bad high school production at that moment. It made me laugh. Yeah, it was totally.
I will say that it's interesting to me because when you really think about it, and I didn't until now, when he made that statement about them being the rich girls from New York City, at first I was kind of like offended because I don't really look at the current housewife usually as like a rich girl. They usually have businesses. They usually have
they're there to
or even if they are rich, they're usually doing something like they kind of have to. You have to be multidimensional. You can't just be single these days.
Right.
And I'll say that when you think about the New York alums, like you are talking about like Lady Morgan and Countess de Lesseps. Like, they are the ones other than maybe like Carol got money like that. Yeah. Jill Zarin came from, Bobby had money, like, know that. But I do feel that like they are the royals that, the ones that are.
Yeah. I mean, nobody else really has their lineage either. Cause let's face it, Sonja's daughter is in the registry.
Yeah. And
She's
also
in the socialite registry.
Of course. And I also think that that part for me is what's interesting because they truly are the ones that like walked into this big spotlight because of who they married. and then got money from it of some capacity, and then were kicked to the curb, kind of. And so, like, he's kind of right, exactly what he said.
Wasn't Tinsley a socialite too?
Yeah, but she just came from rich parents. I'm saying there's like this, like
No,
like
but she made the debutante socialite. Yeah, she's a socialite. She was in the debutante ball. That's a big deal to be in a debutante ball, you know, still to this day, believe it or not.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. There's been a lot of New York, but this guy was right. I think other cities, maybe I'm just like not.
No.
And I'm hearing amazing things about New York. We got to watch it. So
I know. Well, but remember, at the end of the day, Luann is from Connecticut.
I know.
And Sonja's from upstate New York.
Exactly.
And she was a hostess. At the end of
Exactly.
the day, these girls married extremely well and
Very
high above their pay grade, their social standing. I mean, which
Sonja, poor Sonja.
Why?
Is there ever going to be a season, a show that doesn't portray her as the poor girl that doesn't know how to manage finances, in-kind donations? Like, poor girl, like she's always the one that has to give the bad news. It's like, oh, she's in a foreclosure. The townhouse is for sale. Now she's losing the playground. Okay. I just, and not Luann. Not Luann.
No,
Sonja.
No, Luann made $285 for Cafe Bloom. I mean, the best part of that is not only was she out there whooping it up with her little short shorts and her shirt tied up, she was telling people to
she looks amazing.
She looks fantastic. But when she started telling people to park in the handicap spot, I thought that's not good.
Exactly.
She's like, hey, park in the handicap spot. There's nobody there right now. I just thought the lack of self-awareness.
Oh, yeah.
That's what makes them fantastic. And I told you last week the same thing. That's what makes them so much funnier than like Paris and Nicole, because they were just stupid. These girls
okay,
know
we got
better.
some comments about that. We know that they are not stupid. Like
we know they were playing stupid.
Yes.
They're
but the brand, the messaging from the show was just stupid.
Right.
We know they aren't stupid. We
know they're quite
like, we
the
know,
opposite.
especially Paris is billionaire.
No,
like,
I know they're not stupid. They played stupid.
Yes.
These women, though, know they're still. People don't want the word stupid. Fine. I don't care. You do you, I'll do me.
They're trying to play stupid.
Anybody watching this wants my opinion. I don't know why.
No, I don't think
what I'm saying is,
I think people can say stupid. They're trying to be ditzy.
Yeah, no, but the idea is that Luann knows you shouldn't park in a handicapped spot.
Yeah.
Even if it's the only one within 5 miles, you don't park in a handicapped spot. And the way she would say, park in the handicapped spot, nobody's there right now. I thought it was hysterical and showed how they're not connected to the real world in any way, shape, or form. Because many people have been ticketed in New York City for parking in handicapped spots or on the street because it's in front of their building. Madonna was one of them.
Okay, but then that's amazing. Nice fun fact of the day. You already had your PSA, now your fun fact. What I'll say is that it's like, and this is why they're housewives, is that and this is who Luann always has been. Luann thinks she can do whatever she wants all the time, including beat police officers up in South Florida. Yeah. So honestly, Luann reminds herself very much of myself. Okay. Yeah. And like when we're using substance, you think you're above the law. But you also like don't really like when you have your mind made up, you say what you feel and you can make jokes about it because you're like, and I think that this is something that she's kind of worked on as well, is like she's kind of like, I thinks it's funny, but at the same time, Paris and Nicole never did that. And I don't know if it was because they didn't want to disappoint their parents, like who knows what it was, but they had that sweet kind of silly humor with people when they would do something wrong. Whereas Luann will be like, oh yeah, I know. I just broke that and lost this. Sorry. Paris would be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Like,
remember, the difference is that Paris and Nicole both grew up very wealthy. Mm-hmm. And Luann and Sonja didn't. And I find personally in life, the people who don't grow up with much grow up to be the most entitled. And those who grew up with the most sometimes are the most humble.
I was just gonna say they're kind of like white trash, but they have money.
They are kind of like white. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, what housewives aren't like white trash without money?
I'm white
That
trash,
could be.
like to a degree. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of
I'm
people
not.
are to a degree. I don't think you are, but like I'm sure you have your moments. We all do. But at the same time, there's a difference with Paris and Nicole. They were very polished, like exactly.
Yeah,
as you-
no, totally. I
except
get
when they were
that.
out at the club with Lindsay and Brittany and
But
all.
they were
You know,
young, and that's the
yeah,
difference. These
and
women are
Ollie and
older.
Emily.
They are older now. I did love how they had the mayor and the cutout, and I do think that's a great idea because I loved how they were practicing on him. And when she said, "Oh, you have a red tie, you're very presidential."
I love that. I also loved when Sonja goes, "I feel like he's looking over my shoulder."
They
was
do
great.
make me laugh. Now, when they were doing the whole mud thing, and what was that guy's name? Oh, his name was Craig. Or was
Yeah.
it Jared? No, Craig was the circus clown. Jared was the guy at the Diesel Mud Ranch. Now,
Isn't that the one Sonja hooked up with?
no, Sonja hooked up with Billy Rashad.
Yeah, he was also in the mud thing too,
Yeah,
right?
he was too.
Yeah.
But then we had Jared,
Oh
who
yeah.
was with Luann, and then we had Craig, who had never met women like this. Actually, nobody in this town has ever met women like this before. Let's just.
Oh yeah, I love how
it.
he said, "I'll be coming back to Benton soon if I'm going to be." I got to tell you, she's there for 5 more weeks.
Oh
so
my God! Do you
can
believe it was
come
a
back.
full 5 weeks and not
Yeah.
5 days? Oh God!
I believe they were there for. Oh no, you're right.
How many days are we into this? Do you really think legitimately? Probably day 4, 5 at the most. They did go, they went noodling.
You're so right. Yeah, they shot this over like the course of 10 days, and they got paid like the same amount as Ultimate Girls Trip.
Yeah, they did like noodling so far. They saw the mayor. I mean, that the noodling was probably one day. The mud wrestling was probably one day. The auditions
You're so right.
is like one day. I think we're up on really day like 5.
Probably.
That's just my opinion. But I want
another
to say,
another nice gossip though, and I only listened to the first like 10 minutes so far. I have to listen to the whole thing. Bethenny Frankel came out with a
I
surprise
listened to
podcast
almost
with
the whole
Jill
thing.
Zarin. Did you
I
like
almost
it?
listened. Yeah. And then I hit the wrong thing on my phone because I got a message and they were just about done. And
I love how Bethenny said, "Stop asking Allie." I've just
I
read
know,
that a
she
few
did.
times.
Yeah, she did. She said that several times. It was very interesting. As the interview went on, instead of getting, I didn't see the video. There is a video coming out. It hasn't been
Good.
posted yet. I will be interested to see the video because the audio you don't get a lot with the
Facial
audio.
expressions and
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
I thought they both became more manic. I think they feed off each other. Jill said that she had a lot of anxiety during Housewives. Bethenny says she always has a lot of anxiety and that they fed off of each other. They were getting each other's energy. And they did talk about some amazing things of what happens to you while you're doing this and how it affects your psyche and how you did something and it was 6 months ago. And then all of a sudden you have to reanalyze it in your head because what you thought happened didn't really happen once you see it. And it plays mind games with you. It was sort of interesting. So, but Jill said she's medicated now for her anxiety. But as the conversation went on, my opinion was that they both became a little bit more manic. I think they make each other a little manic. I don't think they're good for each other. They said they're going to be friends at the end. They're going to try to get back something. Not like that they're buddies and they talk every day, but maybe they see each other a couple of times a year and have dinner and whatever.
I think that's great. I mean, you know, I've known Jill for 10 years off and on. I mean, like worked for her first boss, but I've always stayed in touch with her. She's a real person. I think she's amazing, but I'm biased. I always say that. Right. I've worked with Bethenny a few times. I think they're good friends for each other.
No, they're not.
I think they need to change what their definition and responsibilities of each other are. Like, I think they can be good quarter friends 4 times a year, like quarterly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see each other a couple of times a year and
only
you don't
if
really
they adjust their expectations though. And I'm just saying that I believe that.
I don't think Bethenny has a lot of friends. I hate to say that, where Jill does.
Well, I mean, I noticed things even just in the first 15 minutes and I haven't listened to the whole thing and maybe we'll do a whole episode on this, but I'll say that, you know, I know we're not going to do an episode about a podcast. That's crazy. We're not.
No, that's crazy.
I didn't like how Jill was I liked how Jill was acknowledging that she was. I mean, she basically said I was unhealthy when I filmed with you on this show. I mean, now if she believes she's gotten some help for what she needed to
Well,
get,
she said she had a lot of anxiety.
So she wasn't the best version of herself. I think anxiety on a show like Housewives is a pretty big issue because of just the nature of filming a show like Housewives. Right. And I believe it could really change someone. Now, she kind of was egging Bethenny on to say, like, because Jill was like, yeah, you probably noticed today, like I was different. And she was like baiting Bethenny to jump in and be like, yeah, so different.
Yeah.
And like,
she didn't get that affirmation.
Well, and what I noticed in that moment was like, Jill, you just started the interview. Like, give her until the end. Ask her that towards the end of the interview so that she has something to go off of. But then also, Bethenny, like, throw her a bone, girlfriend. Like, come on, like, can you both? And that's how I feel like the whole thing's gonna go, is that they have so much of who they are and what they've done. Now, and they did at the beginning, be honest, be honest, be honest. It's like they're gonna be honest, I think, but they also are just. Anything that's up for debate, they're going to protect themselves. They're going to inflate their own egos. They're going to do everything on their own, and they should. But at the same time, like, I just hope that they've changed their expectations of what the other person is going to need the other person to say to stay cool, because you both want so much more than the other person's willing to give.
I think Jill, and I don't have a problem with Jill Zarin. She is an OG in a lot of ways. You know, we had the OC, but they brought a whole different type of franchise being in New York. It was
She's
whole
also
different
a real
show.
New Yorker.
Right. But it's the Real House. If you go back to the original Real Housewives of the Orange County and the Real Housewives of New York City, they're completely different shows. The first season of OC was going to yoga and playing tennis.
And it wasn't great.
And having skin cancer removed from your body. Okay. The first season of New York was going to the Met Ball, having fabulous dinners, fighting to get your kid in the Dalton school, all of that kind of stuff. Who you had
Houses
to know.
In the Hamptons.
House in the Hampton, townhouse in the city or an apartment, and
Simon
going
Van
out to
Kempen.
eat. Yes, having all these little niche kind of a metal company and entrepreneurs basically, and it was a whole different animal. It just was. And so she is an OG, and she talks about that on it. But I think Jill's biggest problem is she's a little needy. And that's not bad, because she said to Bethenny, oh, you saw me changing your room. I look good, right? I look good. She does need a little
but she does that with everything. She does that with me.
No, I understand that, but that's a reflection of her personality. That
I don't know how much weight she puts on it.
Good? Do I look good? Do I look good? Don't I look good? Say I look good. I just think you should wait for somebody to say you look good. And sometimes people don't tell you look good because you do look good. I'm just saying.
I have to tell you, knowing Jill, I don't know if I'm not saying it's all the time, but I think a lot of the times her brain she just says that and she doesn't care what you think or what you're saying.
No, I think she's a little needy is what I'm saying.
I think sometimes maybe, but I also know that like I've sometimes said something to her that like wasn't the answer she wanted to that question, and like she hasn't cared. I think it's more of just like she's also a busybody. Like that's who she is.
Yeah. No, she's a New Yorker.
She's a New Yorker who just wants to know everything, but she doesn't do it. Jill doesn't do things from a harmful place. I don't think. I really don't.
It was interesting that Bethenny said once Jill agreed that for 2 days she was worried about the food that they were going to have, that she sent her flowers beforehand. She made a point of not talking to her at all, except to get her another outfit because Jill didn't wear. Bethenny said that she thought Jill was going to come all glammed out. And Jill admitted she did have her makeup done, even though.
But she said it was very light. But I thought that was
she said that. Yeah, she was being honest, you know. And then she got there and she had the completely wrong, different outfit, and it was sort of interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought it was.
I think what's interesting is they both could have been really paid for that, and they weren't.
But I think
that's what made it more genuine. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what makes it genuine.
Yeah, and
I'll be anxious to see the video of it.
Yeah. And I think that, that's a big thing, because one thing that Bethenny would never tolerate would be Jill going, oh, I want to cut from the ad dollars of
Yeah.
the episode. No.
Yeah.
But, and what I'm saying is that that's something that I don't know if Jill would have not said 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah, probably not. But I think she's doing really good with the Jill and Allie line. And I think she is making money off of that. So
I agree. And I also think she's really happy
did
with
she get
Gary.
married?
I noticed that when they said it, but I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know she got married either. But in the picture, she has a ring, but I don't know if it's an engagement or a wedding or what.
Maybe they got married because Bethenny also said you're married.
Yeah, and you have
and I noticed that, and if Jill didn't answer back and correct her,
yeah, I wondered about it myself.
she's either had the most massive spiritual awakening I've ever witnessed, because Jill Zarin not correcting someone like that is unheard of,
Right?
or they got married and it's just like something Jill maybe has said publicly but didn't do a PR around it or whatever, which is shocking as well.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
know.
confused.
I know. But
I'm gonna
maybe
ask her.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll text her.
I'm sure you won't be the only one. All right.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. We are so excited. We gotta watch New York.
Yeah.
We gotta watch OC, and we'll get those up, and we will see you soon. Like us, subscribe us,